Hello students, how are you? In the last video of this chapter, we are going to discuss the infrastructure of India on the eve of independence. In our previous videos, we have already discussed the agriculture, occupational and foreign structure of our country on the eve of independence. So let's start. Indian economy on the eve of independence. The topic is infrastructure. The infrastructure facilities during British rule were very poor. Some efforts were made to develop basic infrastructure like roads, railways, ports, water transport, telegraphs, etc. But the main motive behind such infrastructure was to serve various colonial interests. The state of infrastructure as inherited from the British rule are: number one is roads. In the colonial administration, they could not accomplish much on construction of roads due to scarcity of funds. The roads that were built primarily served the interests of mobilizing the army and shifting raw materials. Now, the second point is railways. The most important contribution of the British rule was to introduce railways in India in 1850. The railways affected the structure of the Indian economy in two important ways. Number one is they enabled people to undertake long distance travel, and number two is the enhanced commercialization of Indian agriculture. Railways also promoted the foreign trade, but it benefited the Britishers more than the Indians. The construction of railways led to huge economic losses to the Indian economy. Now, the third point is air and water transport. In British government, they took measures for developing the water and air transport, but their development was far from satisfactory. And now, fourth point is communication. Posts and telegraphs were the most popular means of communication at the time of Britishers. There are also some positive contribution of British rule in India. Number one is self-sufficiency in food grain production. In this, commercialization of agriculture initiated by British government resulted in self-sufficiency in food grain production. Second is better means of transportation. In this, development of roads and railways provided cheap and rapid transport system and opened up new opportunities of economic and social growth. And now number third is check on famines. Roads and railways worked as a great check on the occurrence and impact of famines, as food supplies could be transported to the affected areas in case of droughts. Now number 4 is shift to monetary economy. British rule helped Indian economy to shift from barter system of exchange, in which exchange of goods for goods, to monetary system of exchange. And now the fifth point is effective administrative setup. The British government had an efficient administration system which served as a ready reckoner for Indian politicians. It means the Indian politicians have calculated or guess the future in politics. Now, the last page is conclusion. By the time India won its independence, the impact of the 2-century long British colonial rule was already showing on all aspects of the Indian economy. The agricultural sector was already saddled with surplus labor and extremely low productivity. The industrial sector was crying for modernization, diversification, capacity building, and increased public investment. So, the hostile policy of British government led to the complete ruin of the Indian economy. So that's all for today, students. We have completed our first chapter, Indian economy on the eve of independence. Take care. Thank you.